Right now, something is shifting, quietly but powerfully, and most people are moving through their day without even noticing it. The timing is not random, the signs are not random, and the reason you are here, watching this at this exact moment, is not random either. There are moments in life when everything begins to change beneath the surface, when patterns start to break, when hidden connections slowly come together, and this Easter carries one of those moments. While many see it as just another date on the calendar, there is a deeper layer that few people stop to understand, and missing it could mean staying stuck in the same place while everything around you moves forward. There is a reason why certain periods feel different, why your thoughts begin to shift, why your focus changes, and why you start questioning things you once ignored. These changes don't happen without cause. They follow patterns that repeat over time, but only those who pay attention are able to see them. Right now, multiple things are happening at once, not just around you, but within you. Subtle changes in mindset, awareness, and direction are beginning to align, and this is exactly where most people make a mistake. They delay, they wait, they tell themselves there is more time, and by the time they realize what was happening, the moment has already passed. This video is not just another explanation, it is a breakdown of what is actually going on beneath the surface during this time, why it matters more than most people think, and how it could directly affect your decisions, your mindset, and your future if you choose to ignore it. You are going to understand the hidden patterns behind this period, the psychological shifts that people experience without realizing it, and the reason why certain opportunities appear only for a short window before disappearing again. There are connections between timing, awareness, and action that most people never learn, and once you see them, you won't be able to unsee them. There are also lesser-known factors that rarely get talked about. The way seasonal transitions affect human behavior, the way symbolic events influence decision-making, and the way timing alone can change the direction of someone's life. These are not random ideas. These are patterns observed over time, repeated again and again, yet still ignored by the majority. This is where the difference begins. Some people continue living the same cycle, repeating the same habits, making the same choices. Others notice the shift, act on it, and move forward while everyone else stays behind. And right now, that difference is forming again. You might already feel it in a small way, a sense that something needs to change, a feeling that staying the same is no longer enough, a quiet push in your mind telling you that waiting is no longer the right option. Most people silence that feeling. They distract themselves. They delay action. But the truth is simple. The longer you ignore it, the harder it becomes to break out of it. Time moves forward whether you act or not. Opportunities appear and disappear whether you notice them or not. And moments like this don't stay open forever. In this video, you will learn why this specific period holds more importance than it seems, what kind of changes are happening around you and within you at the same time, and how to recognize the signals that most people completely overlook. You will also understand why delay is the biggest mistake people make during moments like this, and how even a small step taken at the right time can completely change your direction. This is not about luck, it is about awareness, it is about timing, and most importantly, it is about action. There is also something else that makes this moment different. It's not just about external events, it's about alignment. When multiple factors begin to move in the same direction, the impact becomes stronger. This is when decisions matter more. This is when small changes create bigger results. And this is when people either move forward or stay stuck without even realizing why. The difference is not intelligence, the difference is attention, the difference is who notices what is happening and who ignores it. As this video continues, everything will start to connect. The patterns, the timing, the behavior, and the reason why so many people miss out on moments that could have changed everything for them. You will begin to see how these events are not isolated. They are part of a larger cycle that repeats, but only rewards those who are ready to act when it matters most. And once you understand this, you will start looking at time, decisions, and opportunities in a completely different way. Make sure you stay until the very end, because each part of this builds on the next, and missing even one piece can break the full picture. The final part will bring everything together and give you a clear understanding of what you should do next. Not later, not someday, but now, while this moment is still here. Welcome to the channel. If you are ready to see what most people ignore and understand what is really happening beneath the surface, make sure to subscribe and stay connected, because the next few minutes could change the way you look at everything. This is not random timing, and that is the first thing you need to understand before going any further, because moments like this don't just appear without a reason. They build up slowly and then arrive all at once. And right now you are in one of those moments where everything starts to shift at the same time. But most people are too distracted to notice it. They keep scrolling, they keep delaying, they keep telling themselves they will figure things out later, not realizing that later is exactly what causes them to miss it. And the truth is simple. There are patterns in life that repeat again and again. Patterns in behavior, patterns in decisions, patterns in timing. And the people who learn to see these patterns are the ones who move ahead, while everyone else stays in the same place wondering why nothing is changing. And this specific period carries a kind of pressure that you don't usually feel, a quiet push that tells you something is off, something needs to change, something is trying to get your attention. But if you ignore it, it fades away, and when it fades, it takes the opportunity with it. And the people who wait, who hesitate, who keep delaying action, are the same ones who later look back and realize they had the chance but didn't take it, and by then it's too late to go back to that exact moment again. Right now, multiple things are happening at once, not in an obvious way, not in a loud way, but in a subtle and powerful way that slowly changes how people think, how they feel, and how they act. There is a mental shift that begins to happen during times like this, where people start questioning their current path. They begin to feel uncomfortable with routines that once felt normal. They start thinking about change, even if they don't fully understand why. And this is not just in your head, it happens across many people at the same time, which makes it even more important, because when many minds start shifting together, the impact becomes stronger, habits begin to break, new ideas begin to form, and decisions that were delayed for months or even years suddenly feel urgent. And at the same time, there are real-world changes happening as well. Seasons shift, energy levels change, routines get disrupted, and all of this combines into a moment where action becomes easier if you take it, but harder if you delay it. And this is where the difference begins to show, because some people will notice this shift and act on it, while others will feel it but ignore it, pushing it aside until it disappears. Most people miss this completely, not because they are incapable, but because they are trapped in patterns that keep them distracted. They wake up, follow the same routine, consume the same content, think the same thoughts, and go back to sleep without ever questioning what is really happening around them. Comfort becomes their biggest trap because it feels safe, it feels easy, it doesn't require effort, and breaking out of it feels uncomfortable, so they avoid it. And then there is fear. Fear of making the wrong decision, fear of failing, fear of stepping into something unknown. And this fear keeps them waiting, always waiting for the perfect time, the perfect condition, the perfect moment when everything feels right. But that moment never comes, because life doesn't work that way. The perfect time is never announced, it is recognized, and only by those who are paying attention. And while others are waiting, time keeps moving, opportunities keep shifting, and the window slowly starts to close without them even realizing it. And this is why you are different right now, because you stopped, you are listening, you are paying attention to something deeper, something most people ignore. And that alone already puts you ahead of many others. The consequence of delay is not always obvious in the beginning. It doesn't hit immediately. It builds slowly over time. Missed opportunities turn into regret. Small chances that could have changed direction turn into what-if questions that stay in the mind for years. Staying in the same routine starts to feel heavier. The same problems keep repeating. The same thoughts keep coming back. And slowly it becomes clear that nothing has changed. Not because change was impossible, but because action was delayed, and time does not wait for anyone. It keeps moving forward whether you act or not, and every moment that passes is one that you cannot get back. And the hardest part is realizing later that the chance was there, the signs were there, the feeling was there, but it was ignored. And this is what creates that deep sense of regret, not failure, but inaction, not mistakes, but missed chances. And once that moment is gone, it cannot be recreated in the same way again. So what should you do now is actually simple, but simple does not mean easy. It means clear. It means direct. It means there is no confusion about the next step. Start now, even if it is small, even if it feels insignificant, because small actions taken at the right time are more powerful than big actions taken too late. Pay attention to what is changing around you and within you. Notice your thoughts. Notice what feels different. Notice what you keep thinking about but keep avoiding, because that is usually where the change needs to happen. Trust your instinct, even if it doesn't fully make sense yet, because instinct is often ahead of logic. It picks up on patterns before your mind can explain them. And most importantly, break your routine, even in a small way, because routine is what keeps you in the same cycle. And breaking it creates space for something new to enter. And this is how movement begins, not with perfect plans, but with small shifts that build momentum over time. As you start to move, something else begins to happen. The shift becomes clearer, the confusion starts to fade, and a sense of direction slowly forms. This is where things begin to change in a more visible way, because action creates clarity, and clarity creates confidence. And once that starts building, everything else begins to follow. And this is the moment where transformation begins, not as a sudden change, but as a steady movement forward. And this is why this period is so important, because it carries the energy of reset, of renewal, of starting again. And that is exactly what this moment represents, a chance to break away from what was holding you back and step into something new, something better, something more aligned with who you are becoming. And the people who recognize this and act on it are the ones who look back later and realize that this was the moment everything started to change for them, not because of luck, but because they chose not to delay when it mattered the most. And now you can see it clearly. This moment was never random. The timing was never random. Everything you just heard connects back to one simple truth. Something is changing, and most people still don't see it. But you do. You stayed. You listened. And that already separates you from the crowd that keeps delaying, keeps waiting, and keeps missing the moments that could have changed everything. You found this for a reason, not by accident, not by chance. At a time when most people are distracted, you paused and paid attention. That matters more than you think, because awareness is always the first step before change. And now the next step is yours. What you do after this decides everything. Not tomorrow. Not later, right now. Don't ignore this moment. Don't push it aside like every other idea that once felt important and slowly faded away. This is how people stay stuck. They feel the signal, but they don't act on it. And over time, that feeling disappears and life goes back to the same cycle again. But this time can be different. This time you can break that pattern. Your next step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. It just has to happen. Because action, even small action, is what turns awareness into change. And once you take that first step, everything begins to shift in ways you cannot see yet, but will understand later. So don't let this be another video you watch and forget. Let it be the moment you remember as the start of something new. If this opened your mind even a little, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning, and there is much more coming that most people never get to hear. Like this video so it reaches others who need to see this right now, and share it with someone who is still waiting, still delaying, still stuck in the same place. Because the truth is simple. Moments like this don't come often, and the ones who act on them are the ones who change everything.